Hello everyone, this is Doe, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're diving into a future endgame content that many of you have either been eagerly awaiting or dreading, the Tower of Adversity. Since so many tier list creators base their rankings heavily on this mode, I thought it'd be a great idea to take a closer look and give you a quick rundown. Before we dive in, a quick note. This video is sponsored. Download Sword of Convallaria on iOS, Android, or Steam to support the channel and help me keep creating content like this. With that said, let's jump into what the Adversity mode is all about. The Tower of Adversity is a challenging endgame feature in Sword of Convallaria that tests players' strategic skills. In this mode, you'll lead two separate squads through increasingly difficult stages, requiring careful planning and deployment. Success in the tower rewards you with exclusive cosmetic items, currencies to exchange for Tarot Whisper Series 2, and astral equipment. Many tier lists consider performance in this mode, highlighting its significance in assessing character effectiveness. Before diving into the main Tower of Adversity, there's actually a Prelude mode to tackle first. This Prelude consists of 4 layers, each of which you'll need to clear to unlock access to the main Adversity mode. Completing these layers comes with its own rewards, which you earn by accumulating points throughout the challenges. Several factors contribute to your total score, including the number of turns taken, total HP remaining, including any defeated allies, and total damage dealt. There are also additional seasonal missions that can impact your score, making each run a bit more unique depending on the season's requirements. Each layer in the Prelude features its own unique environmental mutations, adding an extra layer of strategy to the challenge. Additionally, both the upper and lower halves of each layer have specific mutations on top of these environmental effects. These mutations can benefit particular classes or attack types, making team composition crucial. For instance, in Surface Level 2, units from the Union and Drifter factions receive a damage boost throughout the battle, making it advantageous to deploy those units for maximum effectiveness. Likewise, in Surface Level 3, units from the Papal State and Wilder factions gain a damage reduction buff, helping them withstand enemy attacks. Adapting to these mutations is key to efficiently clearing each stage in the Prelude. Paying close attention to each stage's mutations is essential, as these often make the difference in achieving a high score by the end of a stage. Strategizing around the mutations can amplify your damage, enhance survivability, and streamline your path to victory. Taking advantage of these boosts not only helps in clearing stages more effectively, but also maximizes the points you earn along the way, setting you up for better rewards. The Tower of Adversity is a bi-weekly updating mode in Sword of Convallaria, accessible after completing the Prelude. Each season, your total score is compared within the server, and rewards are distributed based on your ranking, separate from completion rewards. Notably, starting from the 7th season, players can farm currencies for astral equipment, capped at 3 per month. Each season's layers share the same maps, enemies, and mutations, with enemy stats increasing as you progress deeper. It's worth mentioning that this mode often favors newly debuted units of the same period, though this may vary on the global server due to differences in release schedules. In Season 1, we have the Art of Counter mutation across all floors, which increases damage when attacking countered rolls, but reduces it against non-countered rolls. This season also introduces the Endless Destruction of the Destroyer mutation on the upper floors, boosting Destroyer roll damage by 30% and giving them an extra energy point after each action. On the lower floors, Unnamed 8 boosts basic attack damage by 40%, so make sure to bring units who excel with regular attacks to take advantage of this mutation. Season 2 shakes things up with Survivor's Skill, which grants Drifter and Wilder faction units a physical shield equal to 50% of their max HP and increases their damage by 20% for each attribute debuff on the enemy. The upper floor mutation is Endless Destruction of the Destroyer, the same as in Season 1. The lower floors, however, have Unnamed 9, which gives units extra damage when isolated from allies and grants a dodge buff after each attack. Use this to build a solo strategy on lower floors for maximum effectiveness. In Season 3, Barrage of Bullets increases range skill damage by 30%, but also increases AoE damage taken by 30%, so you'll want to watch out for those heavy-hitting AoE enemies. Unnamed 9 returns on the upper floor, encouraging isolated attacks. The lower floors feature Brute, which boosts physical damage while reducing magic damage and provides breaker rolls with reduced incoming damage. This season is a great one for physical damage dealers, especially those with ranged attacks. Season 4 is all about stacking damage. The Magician's Dream mutation increases damage and piercing damage by 15% for each additional enemy hit by a skill, up to 150%. The upper floor has the Brute mutation, similar to Season 3. On the lower floors, Spell Study boosts magic attack by 20%, and if no damage is taken, healing or support skills allow the unit to act again and recover energy. This setup works well for healers and magic users who can stay out of harm's way. Season 5's Juggling Time mutation reduces energy costs and cooldowns for Seeker rolls, allowing for more frequent skill use. Spell Study returns on the upper floors, favoring support characters. The lower floors are Trap-laden, where all characters take 100% increased environmental damage, so be cautious with your positioning to avoid unnecessary damage from the environment. In Season 6, Fully Prepared increases damage and piercing damage based on the number of debuffs on the target, making debuff-heavy strategies ideal here. Trap-laden carries over to the upper floors. On the lower floors, Sacred Protection makes Watcher units immune to debuffs. This season is perfect for bringing debuff-focused units and maximizing damage on targets with stacked debuffs. Season 7 introduces Arcane Mastery, reducing normal attack damage by 30% while increasing skill and piercing damage by 30%. The upper floors retain Sacred Protection for Watchers, while the lower floors introduce Emperor's Protection, which increases the Papal faction's attack, defense, and healing. If you've got Papal units, this season is the time to bring them out. In Season 8, Warm-Up provides a stacking attack and AoE damage buff each time a skill is used. Emperor's Protection is back on the upper floors for Papal faction units. Meanwhile, the lower floors bring back Art of Counter, so remember to take advantage of counter roll interactions to deal increased damage. Season 9's Guard mutation reduces damage taken from non-countered sources by 25% and increases the frequency of counterattacks, assists, and vigilance actions. On the upper floors, Art of Counter is the key mutation. The lower floors introduce Tenacity, which boosts attack and defense with each hit taken, encouraging a tankier approach where units can benefit from sustained combat. On Season 10, the mode reintroduces Magician's Dream, stacking damage with each additional enemy hit by a skill, just like in Season 4. Tenacity returns on the upper floors, making it a great season for building resilient characters. The lower floors have Endless Destruction of the Destroyer, boosting Destroyer roll damage and energy recovery. In Season 11, we have the Guard Environmental mutation. This reduces damage taken from non-countered sources by 25%, while increasing damage dealt outside of the character's turn by 40%. It also boosts the frequency of vigilance, counterattacks, and assist attacks by 2. This setup rewards defensive plays and counterattacks. On the upper floors, we see Endless Destruction of the Destroyer, boosting Destroyer roll damage by 30% and recovering 1 energy point at the end of each action. On the lower floors, Fortify grants defenders a 30% physical shield at the start of battle, and 25% of the shield's value is added to their attacks. So, for Season 11, build a team that can take advantage of shields and counterattacks to maximize your points. After Season 11, we have a rerun of Season 5 stages. Follow the same strategy, or perhaps maybe try out new units that may be able to land you a higher score based on these conditions. Moving on to Season 12, the Environmental Mutation Hunting Tactics grants a 15% damage boost when attacking from high ground using normal or ranged attacks, or when attacking outside of the unit's turn. These conditions can stack, meaning you can meet multiple requirements to further amplify your damage. On the upper floors, we still have Fortified, offering defenders a starting physical shield. The lower floors feature Coordinated Assault, where every time a unit attacks, all allies gain a 30% damage increase for their next attack. This season is all about using coordinated offense to stack up damage and clear stages efficiently. In Season 13, the Environmental Mutation Hidden Ambush boosts piercing damage against adjacent enemies by 30%, making this season ideal for close-range piercing attackers. The upper floors keep Coordinated Assault, while the lower floors introduce Boiling Battle Spirit. This mutation removes the impact of damage taken on your score and lets units sacrifice 15% of their HP to add that as bonus damage. For Season 13, lean into an aggressive playstyle. Don't be afraid to sacrifice some HP to hit harder and finish off enemies quickly. Season 14 brings the Decay and Erosion Environmental Mutation, which increases piercing damage taken by 10% for each DOT status on a character, up to a maximum of 50%. This setup rewards a debuff-heavy approach to stack damage over time. On the upper floors, Boiling Battle Spirit continues, allowing you to trade HP for extra damage. The lower floors feature Calamity Strike, where each time a non-equipment debuff or healing skill is applied to an enemy, the caster gains a 5% stacking attack power boost. This season is all about debuffing and chipping away at your enemies to maximize your damage output. In Season 15, we have the Sage Mutation, which reduces physical attack damage by 20%, but increases magic attack damage by 20%. If you're running a magic-based team, this is your season to shine. On the upper floors, Calamity Strike persists, rewarding frequent debuff applications. The lower floors revert to Art of Counter, encouraging counter-roll interactions to amplify damage. This season favors magic users and debuff-heavy teams, so build your team around these strengths. Finally, we have Season 16, where Offensive Resolve boosts damage by 30% for Breaker and Seeker roles, making them particularly valuable in this season's challenges. On the upper floors, Art of Counter returns, rewarding damage against countered rolls. The lower floors feature Demon Hunter's Strategy, which significantly boosts shield amounts by 200% and grants a 30% attack power increase when attacking enemies with 0 energy. This season rewards a balanced approach of offense and defense, especially with shielded units. Alright, so that's a quick breakdown of each season in the Tower of Adversity. As you can see, each season has its own mutations and rewards different strategies. Whether you're boosting ranged units, stacking debuffs, or relying on support and healing, there's always a unique way to approach the challenge. There are a few instances where it's beneficial to bring less than 6 units in a stage because it reduces the turn execution, which boosts up your overall scores. I haven't been able to play this mode yet, but I will be covering them when they come to the global server. In those Adversity Mode showcase videos, I'll go through each individual stage and enemies more thoroughly. Keep an eye on the mutations each season to know which units to bring and how to maximize your score. And don't forget, starting from Season 7, you'll be able to farm for Astral Equipment, which is capped at 3 per month. These are essential for taking your team's power to the next level. Another thing to note is that once you've picked your squad and equipped them, you won't be able to use the same units and equipment on the other floor of the same season. So make sure that you have fully built teams for this mode. This video is to provide some kind of idea on what you should be preparing if you want to excel in it. I believe we still have a decent amount to prepare, so hopefully you'll find this video a helpful resource. And that's a wrap on the Tower of Adversity overview. Let me know in the comments if you're excited or nervous about tackling this mode. What's your favorite season so far, and which units do you plan on bringing? If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for more guides like this one. As always, stay cool, stay crispy. This is Doe signing off. See you in the next video.